Hello. I hope you're having a good day. I'm just enjoying some quiet time up here on top of this rock. Isn't it beautiful over here? Look at that. Boop, boop. Psht. So whoever you are watching me right now, I just want you to know that you are a good person. Beautiful. Brilliant. Well-intentioned. No matter where you are or what you've done, how angry you've gotten, all those things that you've done that you regret, that you spend time thinking about now, if only I could have done that differently, if only the past could be different. You are good. And those things in the past that you wish you hadn't done or hadn't said, or those things you wish you could get back, they're all meant to bring you exactly where you are right now. And the discomfort that you feel when you think about those things, is that discomfort is here right now with you. And you can spend time feeling into the feeling of that discomfort in your body, or you can spend time running around in the thoughts about them. And for those of you who want to wake up or feel like you're in a process of waking up, the whole journey is about unnumbing. Because it's actually pretty simple conceptually, it's just not easy to actually then do it. But what happens is we all grow up in whatever environment and home and family and culture that we grow up in. And through those experiences, they're all less than perfect. No matter how well-intentioned our parents are, or our siblings, or teachers, everyone around us. None of us are really loved completely, unconditionally. Okay, I know that's kind of a controversial statement because most parents would say, well, of course I love my kids unconditionally. And most people would say, well, I think my mom and my dad, they did their best and they loved me unconditionally, okay? And so I'll just point out that there's a difference between an undying love, which is what those things are, and unconditional love. Unconditional love literally means no conditions on the acceptance. Okay, so unconditional love means full acceptance. So anytime you got pushed on when you were growing up or shamed, that's the big one, this idea, you should be different. Why did you do that? How could you do that? Oh, there's a beautiful rainbow over there. Let's take a look at that. Hopefully you can see that on the phone. It's so beautiful. I love rainbows. To me, what that rainbow represents is God's unconditional love for mankind. What is God? Well, it's a great question. The Bible says God is love. Love is God. And I have experienced that to be true. And that's why built into all of us is this desire for love. Love just drives us wild. Everybody's searching for it, right? All the movies, all the songs, it's all about love. That song, when a man loves a woman, something about he'll turn his back on his best friend. The other day I was thinking about Romeo and Juliet, that story, these two families that are arch enemies, the Capulets and the Montagues. And yet Romeo and Juliet connect, and that spark of love ignites, and they just cannot stay away from each other no matter how much their families want them to. And their families put so much pressure on them, and there's so little unconditional love for their newly birthed love, that they decide to kill themselves rather than be apart. Kind of. I know the story's a little different than that, and that they really didn't mean to die at first. But the point is that love is that spark that, it drives the evolution of mankind. It causes people to pick up their life and move across the world for that feeling that, of love. And so the idea that God is love is just beautiful, this beautiful energy that we all, when you have it, if you've been like that head over heels in love, it's like nothing else matters. Nothing else is important. Everyone else around, the whole world around, is just pales in comparison to that feeling of love. And everyone wants it, and then when it starts to dissolve and go away, we get so upset. Where did it go? And we blame each other. If only you hadn't changed, But that is what connects us all. And on some level, I think everyone knows that, right? I mean, who would deny that love is the most powerful force in the world? That it drives everything. Who would deny that at their most inmost part of themselves, there's a desire to give love and to receive love? Everyone knows at their core, on some level, that they are good. Even people who have been convinced, like I was, that you're bad at your core, there's always this discomfort in that, and there's always this kind of trying to prove your worthiness, because on some level it's like you're good. You just know it. You doubt it sometimes, and sometimes you beat yourself up. But the beating yourself up ultimately comes because it's like, I should be doing better than this because I'm good. I should be better. And that's part of what happens when we grow up in a culture that doesn't accept us completely for who we are and encourage us to be fully ourselves, and doesn't have the emotional fortitude to allow us to be fully ourselves. And that's the culture we live in right now. It's nobody's fault. There's no bad guy. That's a beautiful thing. There's no bad guy. It's only good guys. And the process, this waking up that you've heard me talk about, you might have heard other people talk about, and maybe you're somebody who's never heard of it. But what that is it's coming to know who you are and starting to feel your feelings, the things that trigger you, that make you uncomfortable, that stress you out, rather than just being in your head and trying to do things to change your circumstances. That's never going to work. It could work temporarily, but ultimately, deep peace that Buddha and Jesus and Muhammad, Joseph Smith, all these people where there's like these huge religions that formed around them, is because they were really onto something, and their message has just completely gotten changed by people who didn't fully understand it. Because all it takes is one person to think they understand and start teaching it, and if they don't really get it, then guess what? The whole thing is thrown off. But going inward and starting to feel. See, the thing is, most of us are living from our necks up in our head, just in our thoughts. When something bothers us, we just think about it, and then we do things. But what this process that I've gone through is unnumbing the body and allowing your attention to be able to go into your body. And when you haven't done it, it just doesn't make any sense. So right now you might be like, that sounds weird, or you might try to do it real quick and be like, I don't know what he's talking about. But anyways, it's a process of unnumbing the body so that you can bring your attention in, and it's like, ooh, there's lots of uncomfortable feelings in there. And when somebody annoys me or I get angry, it's like, oh, there's these feelings in there, and you just feel them. You tune into the silence wherever you are. That's why nature is great. Or in a quiet room, you tune into silence and start to just feel. That's what meditation ultimately is. It's just getting quiet so that the mind can start to relax, and then your attention can drop below the thoughts, so you're not stuck in your thoughts. And you can get into the body. And anyone who wants any guidance, no one needs to change. That's what the great thing about where I sit is that no one needs to change. So keep doing what you're doing. But if you want more peace in your life, if you want more joy in your life, if you want to be free and alive, there is a path, okay? So if you want it, if you're curious, you know, I'm here as a resource, but I don't need anything from anybody, and ultimately, I'm fine. So are you. That's my whole point. You're good. You're good inside. All those things, you know, that you think when you get triggered, you get angry, and you're like, what is that part of me that comes up when I get angry? Well, that's actually the beautiful part of you that wants to birth out, that's being held back by yourself and by society and your conditioning. And so when you get angry, that it's actually, if you express your anger in healthy ways and release it, and there are lots of ways to do that. I've been working leading a men's group for the last 3 years, and you know, I've got my methods down. They're really fun and interesting and challenging at times, but it's no joke. It's not an easy path, but that part of you that comes up that you're like, what is that? And you keep down, that's actually the most beautiful part of you inside that wants to come up and out. You just need a safe space to do it in. You need support. You can find that support in nature and silence, but with other people, it speeds that thing up. So wherever you are, I love you. Whoever you are, I love you. And I can say that and mean it, because if you all of a sudden you showed up right here and said, how can you say that? I'd just say, because it's true. Because we're all good inside. We're all of the same stuff. Have a good day.